on NewsX World. It's a pleasure to have you on the program. And now we move on. An Iranian President Pezeshkian has recently stated that although Tehran seeks peace, it will not abandon its nuclear or missile programs. His comments come after US President Donald Trump claimed this week that Iran had asked on the possibility of American sanctions to be lifted. While hosting a meeting with economic professionals, Pezeshkian has further stressed that Iran is open to talks under international frameworks, but it rejects conditions that limit its scientific or defensive rights. Let's listen in to what he said.
ما نمیخوایم دعوا کنیم. ما از روز اول اومدیم، ما قصد دعوا کردیم. ما میخوایم تو این دنیا با صلح و امنیت زندگی کنیم. اما قرار نیست با ذلت زندگی کنیم. قرار نیست اونا هر چی دلشون خواست تحمیل بکنند و ما نوکری اونا رو بکنیم. همان گونه که شما میتوانید، مردم ایران ما میتوانند و ما میتوانیم کشوری درست کنیم آباد و سربلند و با قدرت بریم.
The Iranian president has also reiterated that his nation will not negotiate on missiles or the enrichment of uranium, viewing these as core defensive measures. Additionally, he has raised concerns over the country's arming Israel, yet constraining Iran's missile program and carrying out strikes on its nuclear facilities. Let's take a listen in.
ما با دنیا هم دعوا نداریم. 100 بار بهشون گفتیم ولی اونا نمیخوان ما سر پا بایستیم. میگن شما بیایید موشکی رو ما هم بحث کنیم. خب بحث کردیم. اسرائیل رو اونجا مجهز کنن. ما رو اینجا بگم موشک هم نداشته باش. دفاع هم نکن.
Now, in a related development, UN sanctions were reimposed in September following the expiration of the 2015 nuclear deal. These sanctions target Iran's nuclear and missile programs amid the return of America's maximum pressure policy. Okay, now joining us is Major General RGG Davidi. He is a defense analyst and he joins us live from the Indian capital of New Delhi. Thank you very much for joining us, Major General Davidi, here on the program. The Iranian President Pezeshkian says Iran seeks peace but will not abandon its missile and nuclear programs. Of course, Pezeshkian also reiterating and seeking and talking about the fact that Israel, its counterpart in the Middle East, is being armed by the United States, by other Western nations. How do you interpret that balance?
Well, Thomas, firstly, always a pleasure to be on the NewsX World. Well, if you go into a little bit of background, you know, as far as Iran is concerned, its nuclear program is part of his strategic calculus, is part of his sovereignty and also national pride. And Iranian leadership feels that in case they have the nuclear capability, this gives them the bargaining power and also strategic rebalancing. So that's the background, and that's why even now Iranian president has very categorically stated that's a part of their own sovereignty, national pride, and they are not going to abandon the nuclear or missile program just because they are under pressure. Now, if we go back to 2015, the JCPOA, that is the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, agreement was signed. In that, the Iran was to temporarily halt its nuclear program, and in turn, the sanctions were to be lifted. But in 2018, the Americans withdrew because they found that Iran is not complying with the stated conditions. And therefore, now that's where the problems started to manifest again. And only in June this year, both Israel and American, they carried out joint strikes against Iranian nuclear installations and claimed to have caused considerable damage. Now, currently the situation is that as far as America and Israel are concerned, they are using deterrence to maximize in their position and ensure that Iranian come under pressure. On the other side, we have the E3 countries, that is the UK, and Germany and France. They believe that the diplomacy is the way ahead. They also believe in limited sanctions, but they feel that this process can only be carried through I would say, give and take diplomacy and not entirely through the pressure, which is the strategy of Israel and America. So I feel that the way ahead is only when there is a balanced diplomacy, that is, the Iranian interest is also kept in mind, their security is kept in mind. At the same time, it is ensured that there is no nuclear proliferation and Iran does not get the nuclear capability, because that will offset the strategic balance in the Middle East region at large. Thomas.
Yes, and of course Iran insists that these nuclear and missile programs are defensive and nuclear enrichment is peaceful. Does that claim hold any credibility given its missile reach and of course its regional influences through proxies like Hamas, Hezbollah and the Houthis?
Well, Thomas, first and foremost, when we talk of defensive capability, it also has the offensive element. So therefore, Iranian missile program is not totally defensive. It is offensive defense, means they have the capability to hit back, and therefore it can't be purely categorized as defense. The second point is that Iranians have been, supporting these, terrorist groups like Houthis, Hamas, and Hezbollah, and these have been the proxies which actually caused high degree of stability and turmoil in the Middle East region. The third point is that as far as the nuclear program of Iran is concerned, it's under a shadow, or I would say, it's under the scanner, because Iran has been very surreptitiously carrying out enrichment of uranium. They already achieved something like about 265 degree of enrichment, and they were very close to actually acquiring the capability when Americans and Israelis went in for strikes in June. So the point is that Iranian nuclear program is not totally transparent. There's a lot that is going on behind the curtain, and that's why the issue today is that there's no credibility as far as the compliance is concerned. Because after June, Iranians have not allowed any inspection teams to come and have a closer look at the program. So currently, there is a lack of trust, there is a high degree of lack of credibility on the both sides, and I feel that Iran must open up its installations, become more transparent, and only then we can see that this issue can be resolved. Otherwise, this issue will keep hanging as a, I would say, a trouble spot, and that's not good for the larger Middle East region, for the peace of the region. So I think diplomacy and deterrence have to go together, but the interest of Iranian must be also kept in mind, because they have high degree of concern about their security, especially when Israel is being armed both by West and US. Thomas.
Yes, Major General Gigi Davidi, thank you very much. Fascinating stuff. Thank you very much for taking the time. We now move on